Well, let's talk to the international economist and business consultant, Vicky Pryce. Vicky, so UK annual inflation rather unexpectedly holding at 4%. What do you think the key factors are behind this?
Well, it's as you said in the summary that we've seen a number of cuts in various parts of the economy in terms of prices, such as furniture, clothing. We have sales in January, so it's not sort of hugely surprising that this would have been the case. So we've got, generally also a slightly more benign environment in terms of wage demands. So though they're still quite high by comparison to loads of other countries, they have been coming down. And now, interestingly enough, of course, you have wages rising in real terms, even though they're actually falling in nominal, not rising as fast in nominal terms. So that's quite good news for the economy looking ahead. You've just been covering what's going on in Europe. Of course, the UK also has, well, we'll see tomorrow, the data is coming out, whether we manage to avoid recession here in the UK. So I think it is a combination of factors that has allowed that inflation rate to stay where it is. But I think there are some underlying factors which are quite positive, because, of course, you worry that, the moment those sales are over and prices are going up, that it's all going to move upwards again. But there are some interesting areas to focus on. For example, producer prices in the UK, in other words, output prices, which eventually from factories, which eventually are going to make it onto the consumer price. When somebody goes and buys something in the shops, they have been falling on a yearly basis, but also on a monthly basis. So if you look at the January data, they were down. If you look at input prices, they've also behaved in exactly the same way, input prices to businesses, which is a pretty good indicator of what may happen next. So when we're talking about what might the Bank of England do in the future, given that perhaps inflation here in this country is staying a little bit higher than is the case in the US and is the case in Europe, nevertheless, those underlying trends which suggest that prices are going to start coming down quite significantly, well, the inflation will start coming down quite significantly, should give a bit of hope that interest rates will also follow.
OK, well, should is a very big word. When do you think the Bank of England might start cutting interest rates?
Well, when you look at the forecast right now, both by the Bank of England and also by the market, the expectation is that we will be on target sometime in the summer. So if that is the case, then what is the point of having interest rates as high as they are now? And the real concern is that if they do stay high, then you could have this slowdown in the economy, in fact, being intensified. So that's the real concern that's out there. So I would suspect that by the summer, particularly if the Fed moves, I don't think we're going to do anything here in the UK unless we see the Federal Reserve in the States also cut rates. If the Fed moves, then I think the UK will move as well.
Eurozone economic growth flat in the last quarter of 23. Germany contracting 0.3% quarter on quarter. Do you think Germany is going to have something of an economic rebound this year?
Well, it doesn't look likely. When you look at any of the forecasts that have come out recently about Germany for this year, a little bit of growth is the best forecast you can get, maybe 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 if you're lucky. Now, of course, we could be in for a big surprise, but it seems rather unlikely. What is going on right now, of course, is that if there had been a big fiscal boost, which had been anticipated but now has been blocked, that might have made a difference. As it is, there aren't any real reasons for getting to the point where we can think that things could improve. Some of the business confidence indicators are a little bit mixed right now, so maybe there are some green shoots, if you like, but overall I think the expectation is that Germany will flatline through 2024.
Vicky, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. Vicky Pryce, the economist and business consultant.